forward. My name is Mr Manteufel, and we're joined by Trevor Manteufel. Thank you so much
for
being here.
Thanks for asking me along.
Yes, definitely. So could you please just introduce yourself and also tell us about the qualities that you possess that you believe will make you an effective counsellor for the next 4 years?
Brief history of myself. Grew up in the Nobby, Clifton, Kangby area. Kangby Primary School, Clifton High School for the first 22 years. Then went dairy farming by myself out at Ackland, where New Hope is now. And then after a personal thing, came to Toowoomba, went into real estate for the last 22, 23 years, 16 with Century 21, 6 years with Remax, which I've totally enjoyed. Qualities, I'm a people person, love chatting to people. Being in real estate, you have to be accessible 24/7. So yeah, I'm not a 9 to 5 type of guy. I do weird hours, weekends. So qualities, I'm a community person, have served with different show societies, as in Toowoomba Royal Ag Society as a committee member there for quite a few years, and now I'm an honorary committee member there. Also Kumbunji Show Society, plus a few little art groups around town, which is my sort of side passion. I don't paint, but I collect. So that's a quick little overview. If anybody wants to ask me more, feel free to give me a call.
Great, thank you, Trevor. So you mentioned you're a real estate agent by trade,
yes, sir.
Which has allowed you many connections and a great bit of momentum out of the gate. You know, with a lot of private property, private land, being happy to put their hand up and have your call flute on their location. They really do seem to love you.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, is that going to be enough to get you that 31,000 votes? Or do you think that there's a strategy, or what are you using in your strategy to reach those people to get into that top 10?
Obviously, a lot of people, or some people know me, I wouldn't say a lot, some people know me, which is a good start. Obviously, being parts of groups like show societies, art groups, personal friends who are pushing my barrow, so to speak. With campaigning, Facebook, Instagram. Facebook seems to be working quite well. Getting endorsements from different people around the community. I've had to put 3 or 4 up already from different people, including our previous mayor. Thank you, Paul. And also cornflakes, putting them up. I've had over 160 on private properties now, which is great. Thank you to those people. And selectively putting them around the streets of Toowoomba, not trying to create a visual eyesore on some corners that it is at the moment.
Yes, that's the way. Oh, brilliant, great to hear. So now catching up to the question that we had before the cameras went off.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest council-related issue that you've been seeing in your travels, either as a real estate agent or in your campaign? And what are you going to be doing to address it if you are elected as councillor?
Okay, I'll break that down into 2 parts. I'll do the rural areas first, being out in numerous rural areas, meeting with people, having meets and greets. Their number one problem is they don't feel the love anymore. They feel a little bit neglected. A lot of them say, Toowoomba gets everything, we get nothing. Yes, they obviously do get something, but I want to bring the love back to those guys, make sure the services are being carried through there, like basic mowing of roads and doing infrastructure like gravel roads. That has to be brought back to a certain level, I think. Going back to Toowoomba, probably Toowoomba Highfields, a lot of people are concerned about the water issues there. Yes, we can tackle that in numerous ways with dam. I think we seriously, as grown-up people, have to seriously look at recycled water again, because the advancement in that compared to what it was last century when we did have a vote has come across leaps and bounds. So that has to be brought back into the calibre of things as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. So this is your first time running for local government.
That's correct.
But you mentioned that you've been active politically in either online on a keyboard, but also in terms of helping out other campaigns.
Yes.
So ECQ data shows that you've declared yourself as a member of the Labor Party.
That's correct.
And Jen Allpass, the Labor opposition to Garth Hamilton during the federal election in 2022, specifically named you as somebody who had a significant role to play.
Yeah, I helped Jen out.
In your campaign. Yeah, for sure. So you are still running as independent though?
Totally independently of the Labor Party, yes.
Yes, correct.
My clarification of that was, as growing up, because I'm, on that one side of the spectrum, so to speak, as in older, I have been a member of the National Party. I have voted National, I have voted Liberal, and I did vote for Pauline Hanson once, but now I'm just aligned with the Labor Party. Doesn't mean I'll be forever, but at the moment I'm very comfortable with their direction.
That's great. Okay, thank you for the clarification. So in that sense, that basically answers the question, but what confidence and guarantees can you offer to voters that you will remain independent, especially in the cases where you will be having to raise local issues in collaboration with state and federal government that may or may not happen to be Labor?
Yeah. Okay, I'm a free thinker. I can think on my own 2 feet, so to speak. I don't agree with everything that the Labor Party does. I don't agree with everything the Liberal National Party do either, but I can see good and bad in both camps. So I'm a free thinker. I won't be directed by the party, and I'm not. I'm an independent of that party. But I believe having some political persuasions, no matter whether you're on that side or that side, within local government can help local government. For the fact is, they might be able to knock on a door that somebody else can't within the 10 councillors plus mayor there. So I think having a little bit there is good for the fact you might be able to get a foot in the door no matter who's in government, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, cool, thank you. Switching gears to the topic of housing affordability. This is obviously a topic that's quite close to your heart, considering you've been in the real estate space, but the availability of homes to rent obviously has a multifaceted and multi-government approach where the state and federal has to collaborate with council on the decision of where to place houses, subdivisions, etc. On the specific topic of approvals and getting things done in terms of red tape, but also more broadly into looking into new ideas and innovative strategies like high density living in the CBD, what are your feelings on those issues and what do you think the role of council has to play in them?
Okay, a lot of questions in that one question.
I did throw a lot there, I do apologise.
High density, certainly Toowoomba has come of age and we certainly can do that now. There's a developer around town who has proven that it can work and he's instigating other sites. There's a few sites that, there's one on the corner of Kitchen and Phillip, also over where the old gasworks site are. There's applications into council now for that. Hopefully that all comes off. And there's a few other good sites around town, not only for affordable housing, which is a funny word because affordable to different people means a lot of different things. To me it might mean a $600,000 home. To Tim it might mean $1 million home. That's affordable. But what I'm more interested in is social housing, so we can get different grades of society into housing, but also social housing doesn't mean it's all social. There's different levels of people go into that, where in the top levels, as in high density, there may be people of all persuasions get together in one building. Or there's a new development, hopefully goes ahead, on Ruffin Street, just over Bridge Street, 50 there. St Vincent de Paul, I believe, are interested in doing social housing as well. And there's a few sites around the city that would make ideal social housing. And I believe one's already going ahead up the back of McDonald's there, near Grand Central. Council have sold them the land or given them the land for that. So there's a lot happening, but it all takes time. And it doesn't happen in 6 months. It could be 1, 2, 3 years before all that takes place. So there's no quick fix to the rental situation, even from federal and state. It's something that we're going through, and pre-COVID, during COVID, I would have never predicted that, even being in the industry, and a lot of us never did, to see where it's gone at this stage.
Interesting, yeah, okay, thank you. Moving to the question of sustainability and responsibly managing our environment, it's been one of the top issues that people have been commenting on and talking about. What are your convictions in regards to climate change and whether or not council has a role to play in it?
Council has a small role to play in it. Obviously with development, With development, I believe development has got too small. Yes, we can still have small blocks. For the fact is, the Caledonian estate, which is at East Toowoomba, 120 something years old, had small blocks, 278 square metres. They had cottages on them. So small lot housing does work, but you've got to do it right. Streets have to be wider. Streets have to be wider so 2 cars can park on it and 2 cars can drive down it. Because we see the situation now where 2 cars park on the street and you're flat out fitting 1 car down the middle. If you do park on the footpath, council seems to give you a ticket, which is, I believe, is slightly wrong, but we need to address the street width. Small lot housing is okay in some areas, but it has to be really carefully managed. And obviously that then brings us to consultation with state government, because state government can overrule us on some of that. So we need to talk. We need to have a sit down, a round table, and have a chat about it to change some rules and regulations. What else was there? What other questions?
Yeah, so sustainability, just
trees.
What council's doing.
Yeah, trees, as in development. Why a developer has to go through on a 20 or 30 acre paddock and knock every tree down is beyond me. They should be able to design with their parkland allocation around the trees there, and we need to build and get a constant plan where we have green belts, wildlife corridors, green belts back into the city, into the outlying areas, and that be from Glenvale right out to Highfields and all those areas. We need that. And planting of trees, instead of planting European deciduous trees, why not plant some Australian natives to attract wildlife, bird life, something like that? It's pretty simple. In our parkland, where they establish new parks because they've knocked every tree down, put more trees in there, get it happening. But for God's sake, save some of those mature trees.
Yeah, great, thank you. Just a follow up to that as well. In principle, do you support the use of travel restrictions on Toowoomba Region residents as a means to reduce carbon emissions? Like, for example, limiting residents' ability to travel outside of their suburb?
That is, I believe, a very European thing. I don't see it ever happening in Australia in my lifetime. We have to encourage people to use public transport. I know Toowoomba's isn't the best, by far means, or other means of travelling around. Maybe the old moped, maybe a cycle, maybe sharing a car. But yeah, like me, I always use a car. Bad me, but I do. It's just a habit and a work-related thing. But yeah, that restriction thing, I don't see it ever happening.
Yeah, okay, great. So crime across the Toowoomba region has skyrocketed, and this is another issue that is a multifaceted, multi-government approach. But it has been garnering a lot of attention, especially in the comments and questions that we're putting out. While Council has no say in the management of the Queensland Police Force and cannot legislate fines, prison time, etc., how can Council contribute, even on a cultural level, towards a more secure and safe region?
Okay. Been speaking to some police officers about this, and yes, we can't do a lot of things, but I believe when people are locked up, or juveniles who are locked up, they're in there, they get what they need, they get medical attention, whatever else. When their time is up, whether it be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, they're then just shown the door with their baggage and go, there you go, back to life. And they get out and they go, well, I've had this help while I've been in jail. I think we need to facilitate something where they can go, get extra help, support, encouragement, social worker type of people when they leave. Because when they leave at the moment, they then just drift back to their family, which may not be good. They drift back to their friends who obviously aren't good because that probably got them into jail. But on a local, state and federal issue, probably more local and state, we need that service to tippy-toe them back into society and not the way they are at the moment, which probably leads most of them, or a percentage of them, back into the crime situation. So
Yeah.
that's my.
So basically, finding a way to make sure that these especially young people, these kids that are offending, reoffending, have some sort of pipeline outside of.
Have some support pipeline. You know, somebody to grandfather them, grandmother them
Yeah.
back into society instead of getting back into the old ways again. Because if you're just pushed back out there, who are you going to contact first? Probably the people your friends that probably got you in there to start with. So we need that support when they leave.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Next question. As the Toowoomba region moves forward into the future, residents are concerned about our rich traditions being sacrificed for our bold ambitions. These concerns were highlighted just recently in the decision that was made regarding the Berghofer Stadium upgrades. How can the council assure residents that rich traditions will be preserved in the face of these changes, and what will you do to sort of make sure that there is that balance that's struck?
Okay. If I was at the table that day, I would have voted against what the council did pass, just. For the fact is, there are rich traditions there. I still believe that decision, and whether it comes to fruition or not, I believe it won't, is the wrong position. There's no parking there. Toowoomba hasn't got a public transport system to cater for all that. And I live probably only a kilometre away, and I've seen big events there, and there's cars everywhere. You can't, somebody will get killed there one day or seriously injured with the amount of cars that are around. I believe there's other venues that could be attacked with that, as in, you got the Charlton, which is supposed to be the thing. I know that the government has said it's got to be an existing establishment, so that cuts that out. But what happened to the equestrian? Like, Toowoomba could have done something with the equestrian out of the showgrounds. We live in a horse area. We've got an international airport. We've probably got the best horse vets in Australia in this area. We've got Gatton Uni Vet College down there. So that, I think, should have been a priority more so than the Clyde Berghofer Stadium.
Okay, thank you for that. I just wanted to ask one last question for you, which is, if you had one thing that you could say to electors to secure their vote for you, what would that be?
Okay, I'm going on the platform. We need to bring common sense back into the table of councillors. We also need to bring common sense back into the town hall with the employees there, with the hierarchy there. Because I believe somewhere along the line we've lost some common sense. The direction that we're getting from the top down on a lot of matters, I believe, doesn't have common sense attached to it anymore.
Yeah, great. Trevor Manteufel, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tim.